Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Prepping by Faith, and I wanted to introduce you to part 1 of my nuclear attack planning series. This will be a 4-part series so as to better break it down into basic information everyone can understand. In part 1, we will go over the impacts of a nuclear bomb blast and the best places to shelter, in layman's terms. So if you're looking for in-depth information on the different types of blasts and the scientific explanations, then this information probably isn't for you. But if you're just a regular person like me and you want a basic understanding of it so you can make a plan for your family, then stick around with me because I feel like I have broken this down so you can understand it. In part 2, we will go over all of the items I think you need to have prepped so you can survive a nuclear attack. In part 3, we will discuss how to protect your windows and ventilation system from radiation fallout. In part 4, we will look at the prepper handbook I have created with prioritized steps in how to handle a nuclear attack and which items would be most critical to complete for your survival. So let's get started. The first thing we need to understand is that there are 2 different kinds of nuclear bombs. There are fission bombs, which use fission alone, and then there are thermonuclear bombs that use fission to ignite fusion. So what we know as an atomic bomb would be a bomb that uses fission. A hydrogen bomb would be most devastating and would use fission to ignite fusion. A smaller hydrogen bomb is much more powerful than an atomic bomb and is actually much easier to make, which is a little frightening in and of itself. A hydrogen bomb has never been used to this date in a war, and they can devastate whole cities in one explosion. Something I feel like is good material for you would be the recent planning guidance for a nuclear detonation that FEMA just released on December 15th. If they are putting this information out there and drilling for these things, we should be preparing as well. So in this drill, they have various scenarios. Where have we seen this before, right? Things that make you go, They use an example of a 10 kiloton nuclear detonation at ground level in an urban environment, so a city. They mention that a nuclear bomb of that magnitude would cause an intense flash of light, initial radiation, an EMP in the immediate area, and a fireball all within milliseconds. In seconds, a thermal pulse causes fires and burns within a few miles of the detonation, and a blast wave travels out within a mile. In tens of seconds, the fireball continues to rapidly rise, pulling up thousands of pounds of dirt and debris that then mixes with radioactive material to cause fallout. Within minutes, the fallout cloud rises rapidly and then falls back to Earth within 10 minutes or more. We want to hope for the more so we have a little more time to react. Within hours, hazardous levels of fallout move downwind and structure fires spread within a few miles of ground zero. Low levels of radiation fallout spread globally within days to weeks, and weather patterns create patchy areas of fallout hotspots. Now, doesn't all of that just sound lovely? They go on to inform us of the blast zone areas, which I think is important to mention. In the severe zone, which they say is a half-mile radius for a 10 kiloton bomb, very few people are expected to survive. And to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't want to survive that, and neither would you. The moderate damage zone would extend out about a half mile to a mile, and this would be where the blast wave would have created a lot of damage to structures. You're going to see whole structures collapsed, utility lines down, caved-in roofs, overturned vehicles, etc. This area would be a potential outbreak of fires due to exposed gas lines and the like. The light damage zone would extend out 1 to 3 miles from the blast zone and would cause all of the windows to break. Beyond this point, there may still be many windows that are broken several miles out, but with fewer injuries. Flash blindness could occur up to 10 miles away and farther if the detonation happens at night. Although this is temporary, it would greatly impair your ability to get to safety quickly. So the blast creates initial radiation and then something called residual radiation that comes back to Earth in the form of fallout. It will look like fine sand or table salt as it descends back to Earth. The tinier particles could remain in the air for days to weeks longer. So what can you do? Well, for me, the first thing I would do is call on God Almighty and pray that He protects me and help me have a level head and clear thinking so that I can make the best decisions. I would pray that He helps strengthen me and cause me to know how to protect myself and the ones I love. The second thing you want to make sure you do is shelter in place. A vehicle would not be a good place to stay since the radiation particles can penetrate through it. You would want to enter the nearest building possible and find an interior space, something like a public restroom. If you're at home, an interior part of your basement would be the best possible location. If you're in an apartment, an interior room is best as well. If you've been exposed to the radiation fallout because you were outdoors, you want to immediately brush as much off of you as possible and clear your nose. If you have access to water and soap, it is best to gently wipe, not scrub as much off as possible. If you can change clothing, all the better. If you're able to shower, you should do so, making sure to avoid getting any in your eyes. If you have access to any sort of furniture or bulky items you can pull in close to your shelter area, you want to put as much material between yourself and the radiation particles as possible. Stay as low to the ground, and you should shelter in place for at least 12 to 24 hours. I would suggest 24 to 48 hours. When we get into part 2, I will discuss the different items everyone should have to better protect you in the event of a nuclear attack. I will link FEMA's planning guidance in the description box below for you to look at. If you've learned something from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless.